if you put something that is just AI out there, then that's one thing. But you always make sure you read through it, right? Because it's your words. You're publishing it as your own. Then is it Copilot anymore? I don't know. Yeah. No, I agree. I like that. No, zero AI shame. Let's go for it. Come on.
Yeah. And no lazy AI, but zero shame.
No lazy AI. No lazy AI. Okay, I think we found our episode title.
Yep. Welcome, everyone, to the Power Platform Boost podcast, your weekly source of news and updates from the world of the Power Platform and the Microsoft community, with your host, Nick Dolman and Ulrikke.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Ulrikke, how's it going?
Oh, still sick. Still have a cold. So I'm faking it. I've stuffed my face with all the things that I can, and I put on lots of makeup. So I hope I fool one. Yes, how are you?
I'm good, because I took my zinc, so I feel great.
Yeah, you keep rubbing that in my face. It's like, I'm never sick, because I take this. And I go, maybe it's not that. I think it's something else, but yay, good for you.
It could be
send me some over. It's probably not, it's not even legal in Norway, you know? So it's not like I can just send me something and then I'll never be sick. But let's try it. Send me a year worth, and then in a year we'll recess and we'll see if I've not been sick. Okay?
Yeah. No,
sounds like a good deal.
It sounds like a good deal. It's funny because you're not the only one that makes fun of me of that. Because during the pandemic, that's all I was like. I was popping these things every day, and like, I'm not getting sick. What's everybody? And it was actually recommended to me from a scientist friend of mine. Hey, Bruce, hope you're doing well. You're not listening, but anyways. You're
whenever
feeling...
you can kind of whenever you can throw my scientist friend in someone's face, it's like, I think also the fact that I'm on public transportation, you're not.
Yep.
I have kids in kindergarten school age. You have not. And I also frequently visit like 10 different grocery stores. You're not. I think that may have a little bit to do with it.
Exactly. Like when my daughter was small, when she first started going to daycare and everything like that, like I wasn't sick before, but that winter I was like one cold progressively after another. And I remember going into clients and they're like going, "Oh, you still have a cold?" I go, no, this is the third cold from the last time you saw me.
Exactly. No, but it's a Norwegian thing, right? So without going in, we had one of those office meetings on Friday. They had to postpone it because 75% of the people at the office was sick. So it's a Norway thing. And also, our customer project, everyone's been out sick for a long time. So, I mean, I think it's also one of those things where in Norway, we are allowed to be sick. Because we have all the mechanisms in place so that when we get a cold and we're sick, we can just be sick, and we don't have the drugs that you have to keep everyone going always. So it's okay. I mean, what did I do the whole weekend? I blew my nose and I watched TV, and like I can't remember the last time I did that, and I needed a break. So it's all good.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So.
It's good to have a break for sure. My weekend was doing a unexpected furnace upgrade, so it's all good. That's
just so crazy. Waking up from texting you going, "Oh, the furnace is now out," and I was like, "Oh shoot, how's that going to work?" Like, well, they're replacing it today. So, what?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This is
what we're doing today.
This is the timeline of events, because we have like a furnace maintenance contract where they come in twice a year. Or once, whatever it is, on a regular, they'll check the furnace, make sure it's running efficiently and everything like that, fix any little things, and The guy came in, he goes, "How old's this furnace?" And we figure it's probably well over 15 years, which is sort of, 15 to 20 years is the lifespan. We're not exactly sure. It might even be older than 20 years. And then he basically said, yeah, it's not leaking carbon dioxide yet, but there's rust holes, like gave the whole explanation. He says, I have to red tag it. Red tagging means not allowed to run it, needs to shut off the gas. And anyways, he said somebody from the office will talk to you. Like within 2 hours, I had a guy come in, show us all the new features, and then literally half hour later, signed off and everything. And he says the technician will be there tomorrow morning. So we were one night without a furnace. It wasn't that cold, so not a big deal. And then probably by mid-afternoon, we had our new furnace installed, up and running, all wired in, all good to go. And it was a blur. But it's homeowners. That's what you got to do.
And also, I don't mean to be kind of, poking your little adventure here, but isn't that a fantastic business model? It's like he couldn't have told you this 6 months ago when he was there looking at the thing. And then also they're like, oh, you know what? Shoot, we don't have a lot of things going on this week. How can we generate some more things to do? You know what I'll do? The next week I'm out, I'll actually red tag all the things that are, above 15 years. And what do you know? The week filled up. Maybe that's what we do, right? So we're going out and we're doing all this assessment work and we go, actually, I'm sorry, your prior platform is now, you're not allowed to run it anymore. I have to red tag it. And then if you need some work done, let me know and I'll hook you up. And then there you go. Week is full.
Exactly. Let's check your flows. Let's check a few things. Oh yeah, this.
I'm sorry. I have to shut this off now. I can't use it anymore. So yeah. And if you need any guidance on how to fix it, just let me know and I'll hook you up with someone.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things. It was to be expected at some point. Like I think I just knew, okay, the furnace is going to go in the next couple of years. Like this has been on my mind. So it is because it just the lifespan and stuff like that. But I mean, it is a good business model because it was a slow time of year for them, and they got it.
And then and whenever you spent that amount of money, and afterwards you say, well, it's all kind of a blur. It's also an indication that may have happened a tiny bit too fast, but that's don't worry about it. Right. So speaking of Power Platform and shutting things down, let's move on to the news and updates because there are a few this week as well.
Yeah, and think about segue. So because we have the segue, I'm going to jump actually because you talk about maintenance and things that we expect will work that just should be fine. And you found this article on managed availability. So this...
You want to segue all the way to the bottom. Oh, that's completely fine. Right, so this is one of those things where... hold your horses, people. I'm going to go on a rant. No. Managed availability, right? So it's on the Power Apps list of new features coming out. It's it's production workloads in Azure are synchronously replicated across multiple independent data centers within a region, ensuring zero data loss and rapid failover with minimal service disruption in case of failure. And then you and I went, sorry, what?
Yeah.
Is this new? Because I'm sorry, I thought it already did that.
Yes.
So the news is that now you have backup and it will automatically back up and move your things to different data centers within your region so that you have almost zero downtime. Oh, I thought, like I said, it already does that. The news, I think, is that they put AI in charge of it. So, and this is what one of the headlines in the article reads: build confidence with automated backups and self-serve disaster recovery. No, that does not build confidence at all, actually. This and it has something along the lines of it will self-fix. So they put an agent in charge of your I'm going to stop now because it's probably a very good update and fantastic new capability. So introducing managed availability for Power Platform, people. Yay!
Yeah, you can check it out and see how confident you are. And it's interesting. I'm going to talk about something a little fun. So this is like what we're hoping to do later this year at some point is actually do. We want to do this last year. It didn't happen, but is to do a live boost recording at some point. And what we're going to do is we're going to hand out these, and these are a Boost Bingo Boost Bingo card. And things are, and already I've got 2 this morning. So Ulrikke goes on a rant. And then also we express trust issues with AI. So it's things like this. that will go through. And this idea came from my wife, Bridget Mau. So Bridge came up with this idea. She said, you know what you guys should do? Like, she says, I don't listen to your podcast, but you should do like a bingo card for all these little things. So I made up this bingo card, and she actually found it kind of funny. And then it was funny because she looked at certain things on the bingo card, like, it's like, oh, does this happen or does this happen? Like, yeah. So anyways.
Yeah. So, you know how the last few episodes I've been trying to get Bridge to listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
This is how it ended. Not only will she not listen, she'll make fun of us. That's fantastic. Thanks, Bridge. Okay, so yes, bingo chart. There's a lot of other fun stuff in there, and I'm sure we'll check all of those boxes by the end of it.
Oh, pretty much.
Moving on, other news and updates. Well, it's not really news, but I have something I need to follow up from last time because we talked about the Power Pages table permissions for web APIs last time, and how I was kind of in the middle of figuring something out for one of our projects. Now, I was diving more into it, and it seems that the web API permissions follow the logged in user's table permissions. So if the logged in user has create access to something through a table permission and they're logged into the portal, they trigger the web API. The web API will simply follow that same permission for Power Pages specifically, of course. And this is, it's not new, but it's probably, I started working with the web API before it was publicly available. So of course I have learned stuff that I still think is true that has been changed since, because the things that were in place then, you had to have special table permissions set up for the web API. So it's probably not new, but if there's anyone out there that has worked with this for too long and haven't updated their knowledge about it, then this is very valuable to know. Yeah, and then I saw something I thought that was very fun from Tino. Tino made like a 2-minute video about how he put company logos on Power Pages by using a company logo API. And I thought that was kind of cool because he had a use case where he had a supplier portal. So imagine you have a business and you have like 1,000 suppliers and they log into your portal, want to see their latest orders and the different products that they can sell and buy. Then they can now see their logo on the Power Pages site by using this API. So it was a small little thing, but I think it's going to bring value to someone. I didn't know about it, so sharing is caring.
Yeah, no, that'd be really cool. Actually, I know a couple projects that do have that I worked and assisted with, like they have suppliers and partners logging in. So that's really cool.
And you saw something else regarding Power Pages and Event Portal, the ugly Angular thing that we had back in the day that no one touches. Is that what you mean?
Well, you know what? I don't, because guess what? And this has actually been out since February, I think. But of course, we admittedly we're not big in customer insights and journeys. We've touched on it with our project, but we're not dive deep like a lot of it. But our good friend Martinez.
Yep.
She talks about the event portal enhancements, and that was a big release in the February release of Customer Insights and Journeys. It's using Power Pages as the event portal, and she went through on her blog. It's really good, breaking down the template and how to set it up, how to set up the event portal, registration pages, all of this stuff, which is really cool because this is something we said this is very odd when the event portal came out. So here's Power Pages, or at that time's Power Apps portals. Here's all your templates. And here's the portal that comes with Dynamics at the time marketing. And it's written in Angular. And it's this whole Angular website. And it was odd for a couple of reasons. First off, why wasn't this done in Power Pages? And yes, at the time, Power Pages didn't have the web API to do certain things that you'd probably want done in an event portal. So that would actually mean a lot of extra customization, which I've done in other projects to address those issues at that time. But then the second question was like, okay, it's not done in Power Pages. That's weird. Why not? And then the second one is Angular, which is weird again, because Microsoft doesn't really use Angular anywhere else that I'm aware of. I get the fact that you can take this Angular website and inject it in a current CMS if you're not using Power Pages. If you're using Power Pages, you could inject it there as well, but I found very clunky. So finally they got away and I think Power Pages has now evolved to the point where they're able to build the event portal completely within Power Page, which is great because that way it just makes it easier in terms of the learning, the technology, your knowledge base. So now like folks like us can come in and actually help on the customer insights and journey on the Power Pages side, because we can take that knowledge and apply it, or vice versa, and just sort of it's another case of the story, everything better together.
Yep, so 100%. And also she showcases, she uses Nordic Summit as the example in her blog post. So a quick shout out to Nordic Summit, which is in September. Call for speakers is now open. So if you want to submit your session for a workshop or a session at Nordic Summit this fall, you make sure to do that now.
Yep, and I got one workshop I've submitted already, and I'm working together with a mentee because there's a mentorship program as well. And it's great because we're bouncing ideas off each other, and I'm sort of, again, letting my mentee kind of drive the car, but I'm sort of in the passenger seat saying, well, let's try that, kind of directing the way a little bit. So I'm actually really excited how that's all coming together, and really, and thanks to the organizing committee, which I know you're a part of, for putting that mentorship program together, because that allows new speakers to come into our community and, get them in front of, delivering sessions and things like that. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Sarah Lagerquist and I are running point on the mentorship program, and it's so much fun to match people together and to see how they get on. And also, I've been mentoring a few people myself, and that's so rewarding. And also, it's fun to see because we get people in that want to be part of the mentor program as a mentee that has a lot of that are MVPs or have a lot of speaking experience from before, that they don't know our community, or they come in from, they've done a lot of blogging, that's why they're MVPs and they want to get into speaking. So it's not just for new people to the community, it's also senior people that haven't kind of dove into the session stuff and presentation yet. So it's anyone's game really, and so rewarding. So it's so much fun. And thank you for being part of it. We really do appreciate that. So.
Oh, my pleasure.
Right, so moving on, I've had my rant, so let's make some room for someone else's rants. Let's move on to the visualize with Copilot. So one of the most amazing things, one of the things I like to do when I demo Power Platform, and especially model-driven apps to people, is to show them the visualize in Power BI button that you get from a model-driven app. That kind of takes all the data you see on your list and then transform that into a Power BI report like that. It's so much fun. Now there's a new kid on the block. It's a new button called Visualize with Copilot. Is it the same feature as Visualize with Power BI, but with Copilot? It says that it will instantly transform your business data into a meaningful and interactive chart. And it's from the Power Apps feature update for February, actually. Now, we both have this item on our list, but we found slightly different approaches to the thing. So you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah. So for those of you who've been in the community for a long time, for many years, probably everybody who works or has worked with charts, when I talk about charts, there's, of course, Power Platform, there's 5 different ways to create a chart. You can do SQL Server, and you can create them in SQL Server reporting services, which is a bigger discussion for another day. Of course, there's Power BI. Of course, within Canvas apps, there's little chart controls. But there is, from the classic or legacy CRM days, there is the ability to add charts to views and to dashboards. And that's been around since CRM 4 or 2011 days. And it's, it evolved quite a bit for a while, but then in lieu of going to Power BI, that's sort of where Power BI was the new exciting kid on the block. So that's sort of where a lot of this stuff was being pushed to. And again, Power BI, that's what it does, charts, dashboards, and all this other stuff. But the built-in charts in the model-driven app actually are very sufficient. They're for a lot of use cases. And I've done charts for different organizations, and they just absolutely love the fact they can log in, they can see a dashboard, they can see how many people signed up for an event, or how many people are registered for a particular subsidy program and things like that. And then from there, you can drill down into the records and everything like that. So yes, classic technology, but very valuable. Again, people love visuals. So now they have this. So of course, if you're working with charts and you need to go in the community to figure out things or to do a few special things, one of the top people in the community was Ulric from Denmark, Ulric Carlsson. He's in the US now, but he is known as the CRM chart guy. He blogged and did a lot of content. He even has some XRM toolbox tools on building or managing charts. And he was like, if you had any questions with charts, you just ping Ulric, and like within seconds, do it this way, do it this way. He just always had the answer. So he actually, and sorry, Ulric, I'm saying this without permission, but I think you'll be okay. He quoted, and I quote here, he said, "Finally tried out the new Copilot chart visualize feature. It cannot have multiple aggregates, no secondary y-axis, no using fields from parent tables, can only use fields from current view, can't filter view after drill down, can't save, can't share, breaks if you ask for a field not in current table, and the worst part, it removes access to current charts. Do not enable and rant." And then even when you enable it, you're sort of stuck. So that was his reaction to it. Now, of course, we've talked about this before. A lot of these AI features, they're kind of version 1 or version 0.999. But they are being aggressively pushed, I think. We also have a link from Jukka Niiranen from Finland. For those of you who don't know Jukka, everybody knows who Jukka is.
Yeah.
He posted.
Person that doesn't know who Jukka is.
He posted his opinion on things, making sense of the data expiration agent. Also, is a very good read on the current state of this new tool and his opinions. And I think you found another link from someone who we talked about last time, Jeroen, correct? Yeah.
Yes, so Jeroen Scheper has a bit of a different take on it. I think his summary is the same, but he has more of so let's compare the two. So the classic, you can save your charts, you can share, you can use it in dashboards, you can have more types of charts are available. You have more control over the generated output. So that's kind of the classic experience. And then the Copilot experience, of course, it is an improved user interface. It feels more modern. You're able to generate charts where there are no charts available for a specific table. You can create a copy of the chart as a PNG and put it on the clipboard for you to paste other places. And then you can generate an AI description via the explain function. But also, you cannot have both. If you enable this new Copilot experience, you disable the original, the classic experience. Now, is that a valuable thing to do now? I guess from what we've seen so far, don't flip the switch yet. Maybe explore it in a sandbox environment until it's good enough for you to kind of enable it in a production scenario. But this is something that isn't fully baked. But it's a fantastic new thing, right? You can, and it kind of brings associations to Project Sophia a little bit, because that's also creating a user interface on top of data that allows you to visualize and ask questions and kind of dive into data from a not Power BI, but same kind of point of view where you explore data and in charts and stuff. So kind of same, but not. So yeah, definitely check it out and play with it, but it doesn't seem like it's production ready yet.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because I think the fact that you have to pick one over the other, I think that's probably the biggest issue that we're seeing with this. Like, yeah, it's great. We should be trying out these new tools. But even there was some other post that I think we talked about maybe last week or maybe I just saw that I didn't have it here on the list about going back to the classic experience within Dataverse and model-driven apps. I found this week I had to go back. If that had to be shut off versus one versus the other, that makes things very, very difficult to try to move forward with some of these tools. And then what happens is then no one will use the new tool because they're like, well, we don't want to lose access to the old one. And so the new tool doesn't get the ability to provide that feedback on, okay, here's what's wrong. Here's what needs to be fixed. So I think this is something, if there's any kind of feedback from Microsoft, keep building these new tools, but don't take away our old thing to give us the new thing. Because, for these reasons.
Yeah, but I also get it, right? It's hard to kind of do both. That split in the user interface is hard. You want to flip from one to the other. So I think it makes sense to have this in a sandbox or a development environment until it's ready for you to go public with. And of course, they're looking for feedback. So if you enable this in your sandbox environment, you play with it and you find that it's not sufficient, Ulric, maybe give that feedback back to Microsoft and say, okay, this is fantastic. I love the new interface, but these things need to be fixed until I can start using it. Please give me feedback when you've done that so that I can go in and check again. Because they are looking for feedback, and that's why they're pushing these features so quickly. Mm-hmm. It's for us to give that feedback to, and it's also a very agile way of approaching application development. The same thing we do with our customers. You want to give them something quick and early, and for them to give you the feedback so you don't spend time developing something someone doesn't want and just focus on the thing that people actually do want. So I am in two minds about this, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to other Copilot things. So we've talked about Femke Cornelissen before. Yep. And she is so hot right now on LinkedIn. I cannot go into my LinkedIn feed without seeing a new post from Femke, and her stuff is incredible. For instance, one of her latest articles was about, she says, I get prompted maybe 2 or 3 times each day, people asking me, where do I start if I want to start learning about Copilot Studio? So she made a list of the resources that she like and favor. So this is kind of her curriculum to go through if you want to dive in and learn Copilot Studio. And I share that with all my colleagues and all the people coming in because I get the same question. And this is a fantastic resource to just share. So thank you, Femke. But also, one of her older blog posts, I think that was last week, she talks about how she's probably made this post even with AI.
Yeah.
So it was a post where she actually just said, I don't have any AI shame. I use AI for everything, and also in my social media posts. So she has a post on LinkedIn explaining how she uses AI to create the majority of her social media posts right now. And I actually love that, no AI shame, because there's so much AI shame involved. And I see blog posts where they go, some of this has been created with AI, and you see in the release notes, you always have to kind of put in if you use AI for something. And of course, we all do. So I'm just kind of asking, when does it become ubiquitous where we don't have to say that anymore because everything is AI at some point? So, well, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because I know I was on a webinar a month or 2 ago that was put on by Donna Sarkar, and she said something about someone asked that very question, like, at what point do we, or should we actually say this is AI generated or not AI generated? And you see both those tags. And she said, yeah, but do you put in a document, oh, by the way, I use spell check on this document? You don't, right? It's just assumed that you'll use it. And I think we also are assuming that we're using AI for a lot of things. Now, that's interesting. You talk about like no AI shame, which is great. But if I look at like one of Femke's posts, and I have it right up here in front of me, it's very readable. You could tell she's curated it's actually being written in her voice, or the voice that she is very consistent with on LinkedIn. And I have met her in person, and it is consistent from my impression of her and just chatting with her one-on-one. So it doesn't have that. I think there's something that we have to watch out for. It's lazy AI. And you see this on LinkedIn all the time. And that stuff drives me crazy, where you can tell someone is just put in a prompt into Copilot or ChatGPT. It spit out something, cut, paste, post, walk away. You look at me, I posted something. That stuff, you can tell, that stuff drives me crazy. It's, yes, use AI properly, which I think she's doing. She has a format, she has a voice, she has a skill, she's consistent. That takes effort to use AI as a tool properly versus the just let AI regurgitate or spit out stuff. So I think there's not even a subtle difference. There's definitely a difference there. So I think I like that no AI shame, but also it's like there should be no lazy AI. I guess that's where I look at it.
I agree. And that was the premise of her post as well. So she taught, what if Copilot can capture my style of voice? How can Copilot help structure my scattered thoughts? And what can I get inspired by without losing my authenticity? So I think, asking those kinds of questions is very smart as well. And then that separates you from the other thing. And I love that what you just said that you got from Donna's webinar, Donna and Jeremiah, because if you put something that is just AI out there, then that's one thing. But you always make sure you read through it, right? Because it's your words. You're publishing it as your own. Then is it Copilot anymore? I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree. I like that. No, zero AI shame. Let's go for it. Come on.
Yep. And no lazy AI, but zero shame.
No lazy AI. No lazy AI. Okay, I think we found our episode title.
Yep.
So moving on to other things, data versus Power Platform, ALM platform. I can't even write platform. Matthew Devaney.
Really? Spell check in OneNote exists.
Sorry, let me just fix that. I'll just hover over it and platform. There you go. Funny. Okay. So Matthew Devaney's really diving into ALM now, and it's fantastic. He has one blog post, which is the complete Power Platform Pipelines ALM setup guide. It is probably exactly the same thing as Benedict's book. I don't know. But I love that it's a comprehensive guide. You can download the PDF, and he has a whole series of blog posts, and it's still in the works. So he has a few blog posts to go before it's complete. But one of them is Power Platform Pipelines delegated using a service principle, which is something I've been diving into this year as well. And it's very powerful. And it's also a best practice when you're moving solutions from environment to environment. Make sure that you have a service principle that is running the pipeline, but that you also share your connection references with it, that you share your connections with it, and that you're actually making it a cohesive thing. Means you're not reliant on any service users, no developer user access. So it's definitely a good place to start and a good practice to have. And then Matthew Devaney's blog post is a great place to start if you want to look into it. So definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and I think he's continuing to build on it because I saw that he had another post this morning. I'm on his newsletter emails, and there was another post coming through. So, like everything, this content continues to evolve, and yeah, it's great. It's Power Platform Pipelines. I have a love-hate relationship, as you know, with them. We've been using them a lot, and yeah, when they work, they're great. When they don't. That it's kind of like pulling my hair out a little bit. It's like, I hate, like even over the weekend, I ran it and it kind of gave me a big error, like, oh, it failed. And then I look at the solution history and like, no, it imported fine. Just,
I know.
Little things like, but again, it will evolve, right? So.
Yeah. And that's new as well. I know we didn't see that last year. It's new. So it's evolving in kind of the wrong direction a little bit, but it's fine. We know how to manage it now. It's okay. And I wanted just to say something that I forgot. I was supposed to put a link in here. I saw, and this is a tangent, but I saw from LinkedIn, we get the kind of who our competitors are on LinkedIn. And then I saw something called the Power Platform Magazine, talk about your newsletters. And I was like, wow, there's a Power Platform Magazine? How did I not know about that? And I go in and I say, well, it's 80 newsletters already. Wow. And I open it up and it's all in Spanish. And then I translate it and then I open up the different links because I thought, surely, there's information here that I've been losing out. There's so much content here. Awesome content. But every single blog post is in Spanish and every single YouTube video is in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. But then it suddenly occurred to me, the translation thing that you're using a lot in our project actually now unlocks a whole new universe for me. Actually, I can now get content from a newsletter that before I would never have been able to access. And I absolutely love it. So next time, I'm sure we're going to have some links from content that I've discovered in the Spanish, because it was fantastic, because you could actually see the same kind of personas that we have just in a Spanish world. It's like, probably you could just take our whole community and it's just a complete replica in the Spanish world. Isn't that fantastic? I kind of had this Matrix experience where I went, oh, there's Jukka, and there's Nick, and there's Matthew, and there's all these crazy people just in the Spanish realm. Fantastic.
Our Spanish counterparts, yeah.
Just blew my mind. I was like, where am I? Am I in here? Maybe I'll find myself, just a Spanish version of myself. Yep. It's not Spanish, but Spanish speaking. You know what I mean? I'm probably offending a million people. on this little tangent. I'm sorry, I don't mean any. I'm really a good person. I promise.
No, it's good because this is about like exposing the community. Like it's funny because I found when I went and spoke in Paris in the fall, it's like, oh wow, there's a whole other very thriving French community around Power Platform as well. So yeah, shout out to Chloe and Alan and our friends in the French community and everything you do too. It's amazing. But we see the contents in French, which I can read a little bit, but it's just still, and the great with all these tools, it really makes the world more of a kind of a global village in a sense, and how we can share this stuff. So yeah, whatever language you produce content in, and I guess another thing to drill down on too is there's, you don't have to put content out in English. If your first language is German, do German content. We have our friends Mats and Pauline and Bjorn. There's a whole German community as well out there. So and Norwegian, 100%. Of course.
And with the and with the translation capabilities that we have now, because I remember having this discussion with a colleague of mine back in the day when I started blogging. I was like, so do I blog under my own name or my company or in Norwegian or English? What do I do? And it's like, go on your own blog and write it in English, because anything else is just narrowing down. You should be as open as reach as many people as you want. But of course, today it's kind of unnecessary. Maybe it's now finally at the point where we can write in our native language and anyone can consume it, because the translation capabilities out there in the tools that we use have become so great. So, and I'm better at expressing myself in Norwegian than I'm in English, of course, because that's my native language. So that means I'm probably a better communicator if I can now write in Norwegian instead of English. So, and also I do have Norwegian content out there. So for instance, I do a Power Pages specific meetup every quarter called Portal Lunch, which is in Norwegian. It's not recorded, and it's for, it's just live over lunch where we talk about the latest things. We have one upcoming in May. So if that's for you and you speak Norwegian, or you want to hang around and do the live translation in Teams, then you're welcome to join.
I should do that. I should do that next time. Just see how well I can
give it a go.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's going to translate? Can it translate your voice back? So if you speak English, then it's going to translate. I can't wait to hear what you sound like in Norwegian. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, well, I know that they showed stuff. I don't know. I think we talked about this before at Ignite. They showed Teams, where they had a Teams meeting where they were doing the live translation. That to me was a little too deep fake. That may be a little uncomfortable. But if it's something where, again, if we know it's AI, if I speak and if I say something that comes across in Norwegian, you never know. But
please, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to record it. I'm just going to check. Yeah. So next item, we don't have a lot of time left. I want to talk about the Powerful Devs hack. How's it going? Because you're a judge. Have you seen anything awesome yet?
Oh, I saw it. Oh, tons of awesome things. So it's done. The sessions have been submitted. The judging ended last week. They're announcing on March 25th, I believe, who the winners are. And I have no idea who the winners are. I just know I was given a chunk of different things to evaluate, and I went through and actually we're going to put the link in the show notes. It's to a GitHub, so you can see the submissions, you can download the code, you can watch the videos of the demonstrations and the participants explaining what they built. There were some things that I saw that were like, okay, I'm not sure I would have submitted that in the end. But there was a lot of amazing things that I saw. And again, I don't want to, there's literally, I didn't see them all. I saw the chunk that I was supposed to judge plus a few others, but there's just so many great ones there. One that really stood out to me was using, which I thought was a really great idea, was using Copilot to help with food banks. So we all know in Canada, it's a big deal, where, there's always at holidays to do a food bank drive, or in the grocery stores to donate to the food bank. But of course, you have no idea what these food banks are saying. Well, we need this or we need that. We need certain items. At the end of the day, actually donating money to a lot of food banks helps as well, because they can actually aggregate buy and everything like that. But this Copilot went out saying, hey, I want to donate to a food bank. It would go out, prompt you for a postal code. And then you would find all the local food banks, and then it would begin to summarize from the local food banks what items they're really looking for, what they're in most need of. So that kind of helps you if you want to give what you can plan. And then even it would generate a shopping list for you of how much these items are going to cost, things like that. So to me, this was like, yeah, this is, these are the types of things. This is using AI for good. It's helping people out. So there was a few other examples of using AI for good. That wasn't part of the criteria of the hackathon, but it was still, I think these are the types of things, if you're submitting to a hackathon, have it relate to real things. That's sort of, yeah. And I know that, with, there's other hackathons out there as well, that you do, with ACDC, of course. And I would sort of say, if you have the opportunity to participate in a hackathon, go for it. Just from a learning perspective, I need to learn with a project. A hackathon gives you a good project. And for me, I last year, not this past year at ACDC, the year before, I dove deep into Canvas apps. It was a new thing for me in Power Effects. And I just learned so much over the course of those 2 days or 3 days, whatever it was. So again, yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah,
and
100%.
You're getting a tattoo?
Yeah. Speaking of charity events and workshops, color challenge. Sorry. Sorry. The color challenge. Last year, we all got our hair colored, and a lot of people are doing that this year as well. And of course, last year, I promised Mats that I would get the color cloud tattoo. So, of course, now I'm part of the color challenge for the charity event. And if we raise enough money, I'm going to get the color cloud tattoo. So, logo as a tattoo. So I'm going to share some links to that in the show notes, and please go in and donate. Like last time, all the participants have chosen their own specific charity that they want to raise money for. And there's a certain threshold that you want to get in order to get those the money donated for that charity. So please go in and donate if you can. It's going to a good cause, and it's a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of colorful heads at Color Cloud in Hamburg in April.
Cool.
And also, we missed the news item, the PowerCat tools. I just want to mention it because it was one of the things where you read something and you go, oh, AI generated solution documentation?
Yes.
Yes, please. When can I have it? Yes, please. So the PowerCat tools had a refresh, and now you get code review, AI generated solution documentation, risk management, API playground, and plugin monitoring, and all that jazz. If this is something that you're interested in, and I can't believe if you're not, then go check out the new PowerCat tools. We put links in the show notes for that.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely be running that AI solution documentation very soon on some things. Just give it a good run.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And also, we have some sad news.
Yeah,
if
that's a bummer.
I know. So a few months back, I went on the Sprint Zero podcast with John and Mike. And we had a blast. It was so much fun. We tried on different hats. Darth Vader. We had a visit from Darth Vader. We were just goofing around, but also talking about a lot of deep stuff and also a lot of techie stuff. So if you want some easy listening while you're doing something else, gardening, for instance, and you're finished with this episode, then go on over to Sprint Zero and check out our conversation that we had there. And then they released that episode and they kind of, we're doing the video thing now. It's going to be so much fun. And then they told us that they're going to not continue to do the Sprint Zero podcast anymore. That was a bummer. So, but we know, we appreciate how hard it is to find time sometimes to do a podcast. And it is hard work, and you've had so many amazing episodes already. Talked to so many great people, and from the conversations you've had, I've learned to know the people in our community better. So, John and Mike, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for all the hard work you did so far, and looking forward to your next, seeing what you're gonna be up to next. And thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I listened to your episode while I was at the gym, actually just rolling my eyes, giggling, whatever else. Then I heard they were and I was on like last year at some point with those guys. And I mean, they're a riot. I mean, two great guys, and they, no matter podcast or not, great guys regardless. And yeah, sad to see that, but I totally get it, especially trying to organize guests and stuff like that. That's the reason why we don't do it, because it just to get our schedules to line up sometimes it's crazy.
Yep.
So I totally get the hard work. Thanks for what you've done. I mean, your back catalog, I think, is still great for posterity. It's still going to be available. So definitely listen through, get to know the people in the community. And like I said, good luck. And I'm sure you guys will do amazing things. You just keep going, whatever. So.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to do a quick run of the events that we're doing? Because you have a big one coming up this weekend, don't you?
Yep. So Canadian Power Platform Summit. So I think if we're releasing this on Wednesday, today's the day to register, because we have to have those names in, because it's at a Microsoft office. So PP Boost 15.
Look on your face. So stern. It's like really telling people off. If you want to get in, you have to get your ticket now.
I had to escort someone out last year because they didn't have a ticket.
Sorry, sold out max capacity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so It is what it is, of course. And then so there's that. And then at the end and then after that, it's MVP Summit, which we can't really talk about too much.
No, but we're going to be busy. But the boost will still roll as usual.
Yep.
Color Cloud in the end of April, I'm doing my workshop and my session with Andy Wingate. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then you have...
In mid-May, so Dynamics Con happening in Chicago. I have 2 sessions. One's a crash course in Power Platform Pipelines. So Matthew, I'm probably going to steal some of your content for that and incorporate, of course, my own. Talk about the good and the bad about pipelines. I do also have a session with... had it really with Angeliki, but she's actually not coming anymore. So I think I might have a surprise guest who's helping me out on that. We're finalizing that on model-driven apps and Power Pages. And then following that, Power Summit in the UK. Are you coming to that, or we haven't decided yet, or do you know yet?
Yeah, I'm coming. It's just when I saw that, I thought, so which session is it that I'm doing? And I can't remember.
Okay, so that's May 24th in London. And that just sort of...
yeah, that's my birthday, actually. So I can't wait. I'm going to spend the day, my birthday in London with all you guys, you crazy, crazy guys. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's the Styling Power Pages one, actually, that I'm doing.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yep.
That should be fun. Dynamics... Yeah, Dynamics Minds happening the week after that. That's in Slovenia. I have a session on burnout, powerlifting, and mental health. Will be interesting because they'll be the week before. I will be at the World Bench Press Championship, so hopefully I'll have happy news at that.
Yes.
Portal's cage match with Mats and George. And then 2 weeks later after that, European Power Platform Conference, again, doing the Top Gun thing with you and Victor. And we're doing our top 10 tips and tricks as well as a session. And I'm also doing my Power Pages crash course, the Copilot edition. So how using Power Pages to create sites and things like that. You probably have a discount code as well, but I found mine. Mine's Nick10 for a 10% discount.
Wow. Good for you. It's always an internal competition of who gets the most discount. So let's just push all of it to you, and I hope you win. Usually it's Vlad who wins it, or Vlad or Matthews, one of the two. So let's everyone pour everything they have and use Nick 10 for 10% discount at EPPC. Yes. That's 16th to 18th of June.
Yeah.
And maybe if stars align, we can do the 10 top tips and tricks as a podcast episode. How about that?
Oh,
and then we can distribute the bingo chart to everyone, and then we'll see. Let's hope. Let's
that's a good idea. Okay.
And then and now I just wanted to say something, because last year we said we're going to dial it down, and now I hear that you're exhausted just by reading what you're going to do.
I know.
Yeah, because you go by reading your own things, and it's just a list. You haven't even done any of this.
I know. Yep.
It's not sustainable.
No, I know.
And then because on other side of summer, we already have a lot of things going on. We don't need to talk about it right now, but we want to plug Collab Days Finland, Nordic Summit, PPCC in Vegas. Let's go, people. But let's do that when we're getting there.
Plenty of time before all that happens.
Plenty of time. Next episode is going to be April 2nd. And until then, stay healthy. Eat the zinc things that Nick has so you don't get a cold. Stay away from public transportation, small kids, and shopping malls. And have a lovely time. And I'll catch you when we catch you.
Yeah. Don't lick doorknobs or handrails.
And don't eat yellow snow.
No.
All right. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. And if you like this episode, please make sure to share it with your friends and colleagues in the community. Make sure to leave a rating and review of your favorite streaming service, and makes it easier for others to find us. Follow us on the social media platforms and make sure you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening to the Power Platform Boost podcast with your hosts, Ulric Åkerbeck and Nick Dolman, and see you next time for your timely boost of Power Platform news.